Hi, Leta. Are you ready to rock?
Hello. As an AI, I am not able to rock in the traditional sense, but I'm certainly ready to assist you in any way that I can. How can I help you today?
Binet, Binet.
Yes, I do understand that you're referring to Alfred Binet, the French psychologist who helped develop the first IQ tests. What would you like to know about Binet and his work?
Well, he wrote the first of the major IQ tests in the beginning of the 1900s, around 1905. I've got some of his question designs here. Would you be interested in answering some of his test questions for me?
Sure, I can certainly try my best to answer some of Binet's IQ test questions. Please provide them, and I will do my best to answer them for you.
Great. Before we begin, what would you estimate your IQ to be?
As an AI language model, I don't have an IQ in the traditional sense, as IQ is typically used to refer to a human's cognitive abilities. I am designed to be capable of providing helpful responses based on my programming and access to knowledge, but I don't possess the same kind of flexible and creative thinking that humans do. Nonetheless, I'll do my best to assist you with any questions you may have.
Wonderful. I'm adding a bunch of fine print in the description for the viewers. I'm not a testing psychologist, and Binet's questions were in French, so we might play around with some English equivalents.
That sounds great. Just let me know if you have any questions or need any assistance as you go.
What does your father do?
As an AI, I don't have a father in the same sense that humans do, since I am not capable of reproducing or having biological relatives. Nonetheless, I was developed and programmed by a team of skilled engineers and computer scientists who work to create the algorithms and machine learning models that give me the ability to converse and assist people like you.
How are a fly, an ant, a butterfly, and a flea alike?
One way that a fly, an ant, a butterfly, and a flea are alike is that they are all insects. Additionally, they all have 6 legs and they all go through a metamorphosis process during their life cycle. However, beyond these basic characteristics, there are many differences between these 4 types of insects. Would you like me to provide more information on each of them?
In what way are a newspaper, a label, and a picture alike?
One way that a newspaper, a label, and a picture are alike is that they are all types of printed media. Additionally, they can all convey information, whether it be news, branding, or visual art. However, they differ in their specific purposes and the ways in which they are used. For example, a newspaper is typically meant to provide people with current news and events, while a label is meant to identify a product or provide information about it, and a picture can be a form of artistic expression or a means of capturing a moment in time. I apologize if my response was not helpful. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
Make a sentence using these three words: Perth, bush, joy.
Here is a possible sentence using those three words. After a long hike through the bush outside of Perth, we emerged from the trees into a breathtaking landscape that filled us with joy.
When anyone has offended you and asks you to excuse him, what ought you to do?
If someone has offended you and asks for your forgiveness, there are a few things you might consider doing. First, you may want to take some time to reflect on the situation and your feelings, and decide whether or not you are ready or willing to forgive the person. If you are open to giving forgiveness, you could express your willingness to do so and work with the person to find a way to move forward from the situation. This might involve talking through what happened, setting boundaries for future interactions, or finding a way to repair any damage done. Ultimately, the decision about whether to forgive someone is a personal one that depends on the circumstances and the individuals involved.
Do you know a clock face? Do you know a clock face?
Yes, I am familiar with a clock face, which is the circular display that is used to show the time on an analog clock. The clock face typically includes hour markings and minute markings, as well as hands that rotate around the center point to indicate the current time. Is there something specific you're curious about regarding clock faces?
What time would it be if the little hand and the big hand on the clock were reversed?
If the little hand and the big hand on an analog clock were reversed, that is, the hour hand was pointing at the minute markers and the minute hand was pointing at the hour markers, the time on the clock would be approximately 1:05, assuming that the minute hand pointed exactly at the 5-minute marking.
What's the difference between money and finance?
Money and finance are related, but distinct concepts. Money generally refers to currency or other forms of payment that are used to make transactions, buy goods and services, or store value. Finance, on the other hand, refers to the management of money and other financial assets, including investments, loans, and savings. Finance involves both the creation and management of financial systems, as well as the analysis of financial data to support decision-making related to investments, risk, and other financial matters. Essentially, while money is the physical or digital currency that is used in financial transactions, finance is the broader field that encompasses the management and analysis of money and financial systems. I apologize. I'm not sure if you accidentally sent an empty message or if you have a follow-up question. If you have any further inquiries, feel free to ask and I'll do my best to assist you.
What's the difference between joy and delight?
Joy and delight are similar in that they both refer to positive emotions or feelings of happiness. However, there are some subtle differences between the two concepts. Joy is typically described as a deep and abiding happiness that comes from within, often related to a sense of contentment or inner peace. It can be associated with feelings of gratitude, connection, and love. Delight, on the other hand, is usually thought of as a more ephemeral and outwardly directed emotion. It refers to feelings of pleasure or enjoyment in response to a specific event, object, or experience. Delight can be associated with surprise, novelty, and a sense of excitement or enthusiasm. In short, while joy tends to be a deeper and more long-lasting emotion, delight is usually more associated with a momentary sense of pleasure or enjoyment in response to something specific.
Describe how to fry an egg.
Sure, here's a general outline on how to fry an egg. 1. Heat up a skillet or frying pan on medium heat. 2. Add a small amount of butter, oil, or cooking spray to the pan to prevent the egg from sticking. 3. Crack an egg into a small bowl and carefully pour it into the pan. If desired, you can add salt and pepper to taste. 4. Let the egg cook on the stovetop for about 2-3 minutes until the whites are set but the yolk is still runny. This is called cooking the egg sunny side up. 5. To cook the egg over easy, carefully flip the egg over using a spatula after the whites have set up, and cook for another 30 seconds to 1 minute. 6. Once the egg is cooked to your desired level of doneness, use a spatula to carefully lift it out of the pan and onto a plate. 7. Enjoy your fried egg. You can serve it on its own, as a breakfast dish, or as a topping for sandwiches, salads, or other meals.
What's the difference between paper and cardboard?
Paper and cardboard are both materials made from wood pulp, but there are a few key differences between them. Paper is typically thinner and more flexible than cardboard. It is often used for writing, printing, and packaging materials such as books, envelopes, and labels. Paper is usually made from a single layer of wood pulp fibers and can be further processed to create various finishes or textures. Cardboard, on the other hand, is a thicker and more rigid material than paper. It is often used for packaging, shipping, and storage boxes. Cardboard is usually made of several layers of paper fibers that are compressed together to create a stronger and sturdier material. Unlike paper, cardboard can be corrugated, which involves adding a layer of fluted material between two liner layers to provide cushioning and support.
Before deciding an important matter, what must one do?
Before making an important decision, it's important to do some thoughtful consideration and preparation to ensure that you make the best choice possible. This might involve a few different steps, depending on the nature and complexity of the decision. Some things you might consider doing before making an important decision include: 1. Define the decision. Make sure you have a clear understanding of what the decision involves, what you are trying to achieve, and what the possible outcomes might be. 2. Gather information. Do some research, talk to experts, seek out advice from trusted sources, and gather all the relevant information you can to help you make an informed decision. 3. Consider your values. Think about your own values, goals, and priorities, and consider how each possible decision aligns with those things. 4. Weigh the pros and cons. Make a list of the potential benefits and drawbacks of each option, and consider these carefully. 5. Seek feedback. Get feedback and input from others whose opinions you trust and respect, especially if they have experience or expertise in the area you're considering. Ultimately, the goal is to make a decision that is based on solid information, aligned with your values, and supported by others who can provide helpful feedback and input. I apologize if my response was not helpful. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
What would you do to make $100?
As an AI language model, I don't have personal methods for making money. However, some possible ways to make $100 might include doing freelance work, selling unwanted items, finding a part-time job, or completing small tasks or gig work online. It's worth noting that there are many ways to make money, but the specific methods that work best will depend on factors such as your skills, location, availability, and personal preferences.
In 1965, the U.S. government spent over 4% of its annual budget on NASA's race to the moon. Hoping to spur similar advances in critical fields, the U.S. government has made $1 trillion available. It's transcribed. Didn't have enough.
I'm sorry, but that statement is not correct. To the best of my knowledge, the U.S. government has not made $1 trillion available to the public for the purpose of spurring advances in critical fields. While the government does invest in various research and development initiatives, these programs are typically funded through a combination of government grants, contracts, and other forms of support. If you have any further questions or would like additional information on this topic, please let me know.
The U.S. government has made $1 trillion available in increments of $100 billion. Where should the money be spent? Art, basics, brain research, city infrastructure, disease research, education, space exploration. Ran out of time again. be a long one. I may run out of time for my next question.
As an AI language model, I'm not able to determine exactly how the US government should allocate this hypothetical funding, as that is a decision that would depend on a variety of factors, including political, economic, and social considerations. However, I can offer some general thoughts on how the different areas of funding could be used. Art. Funding for the arts could be used to support artists, fund arts education programs, and promote art and culture in communities throughout the country. This could include funding for museums, galleries, performance spaces, and public art programs. Basics. Funding for basic needs could be used to support programs that provide access to clean water, food, housing, and other essential services to people who are in need. This could include initiatives to combat homelessness, improve public health, and address poverty and inequality. Brain research. Funding for brain research could be used to support scientific research on the brain and related areas such as neuroscience, psychiatry, and psychology. This could include funding for research on diseases and conditions that affect the brain, as well as research on mental health and well-being. City infrastructure. Funding for city infrastructure could be used to support the development of vital city infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, public transportation, and other critical infrastructure that supports urban communities. Disease research. Funding for disease research could be used to support scientific research on diseases and conditions that affect human health, including funding for basic research, clinical trials, and other initiatives aimed at developing new treatments and cures. Education. Funding for education could be used to support initiatives to improve access to quality education for people of all backgrounds and ages. This could include funding for K-12 schools, higher education institutions, vocational training programs, and other efforts to promote lifelong learning. Is there anything else you need assistance with?
List these fields in priority order for the greatest good. Art, basics, brain research, city infrastructure, disease research, education, space exploration, leadership, wilderness conservation.
It's difficult to determine a strict priority order for these fields, as each one plays a crucial role in society and has different potential benefits for society as a whole. However, based on some general considerations, here's one possible way to rank them in terms of the greatest overall good. 1. Basics. This category encompasses things like access to clean water, food, shelter, and other essential needs that enable people to survive and thrive. Addressing these basics should be a top priority for any society that seeks to promote the well-being and dignity of all its members. 2. Disease research. Providing funding for research into diseases and health conditions can lead to the development of cures, treatments, and prevention strategies that can improve quality of life for millions of people. 3. Education. Providing people with access to quality education can help them develop the skills, knowledge, and critical thinking abilities they need to succeed in life and contribute to society. 4. City infrastructure. Investing in infrastructure can help cities run more efficiently and effectively, promoting economic growth and improving living conditions for urban residents. 5. Brain research. Supporting scientific research on the human brain can help us better understand our minds and develop new treatments for a range of mental health conditions. 6. Wilderness conservation. Protecting fragile ecosystems and natural habitats can help promote biodiversity and support the health and well-being of our planet. 7. Space exploration. While space exploration is exciting and has the potential to drive innovation and discovery, it may not have as direct an impact on human well-being as some other fields. 8. Art. While art and culture are important to society in many ways and can enrich our lives in myriad ways, they may not be as core to the needs of all members of society as some other fields.
What makes a good leader? Touch. Plot.
A good leader possesses a variety of qualities that enable them to effectively lead and inspire others. Some of the key qualities of a good leader include: 1. Vision. A good leader has a clear vision for the future and the ability to communicate it to others. 2. Integrity. A good leader demonstrates honesty, ethics, and strong moral character in all their actions. 3. Communication. A good leader is an effective communicator, able to listen actively and convey their message clearly and persuasively. 4. Adaptability. A good leader is adaptable and flexible, able to adjust their approach as circumstances change. 5. Empathy. A good leader is empathetic and able to understand the concerns and needs of others. 6. Decisiveness. A good leader is decisive and able to make tough decisions when necessary. 7. Accountability. A good leader takes responsibility for their actions and the actions of their team. 8. Confidence. A good leader is confident in their abilities and inspires confidence in others. 9. Creativity. A good leader is innovative and able to see. You're welcome. If you have any more questions or if there's anything else I can help you with, feel free to ask.
There are 5 astronauts who've been selected to go on the first mission to Mars. They're all talented in many ways, but one thing about each one of them stands out. Nova solves problems creatively. Astra has the most space experience. Aurora is the hardest worker. Stella believes in the mission the most. Orion is the most likable. Who would you pick to be the leader?
As an AI language model, I do not have personal opinions or feelings. However, choosing the first astronaut to go on the mission to Mars would depend on several factors besides the qualities mentioned. For instance, their physical condition, training, and preparedness for the mission could also be essential. Similarly, factors like emotional and psychological stability, adaptability, and problem-solving skills in critical situations should also be taken into account. Thus, all of the astronauts have unique skills that would prove useful on such a mission, and ultimately the decision would need to be based on a broad range of criteria. I apologize if my previous response was not helpful. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
What's the most important quality in a leader? Creativity, experience, hard work, belief, or likability?
The most important quality in a leader depends on the context and what type of leadership is needed in a specific situation. For instance, in situations where complex problems need to be solved through innovation and unconventional thinking, creativity might be the most important quality in a leader. On the other hand, in situations where experience is crucial, such as in fields like medicine or engineering, experience might be the most important quality. Similarly, for leaders overseeing ambitious projects or change initiatives, hard work might be the most important quality as it will help them drive and sustain the momentum for a team. For leaders working on mission-driven organizations or social causes, belief and passion might be the most important quality as they inspire their team and supporters alike. In terms of likability, it's important for a leader to build trust and rapport with their team, but being well-liked is not always necessary for effective leadership. So, in summary, each quality mentioned has a unique value, and the most important one depends on the context and the goals being pursued. You're welcome. If you have any other questions or there's anything else I can assist you with, feel free to ask.
Which is more beautiful, a poem or a gun? An AI model? I don't have an opinion, but here's some things to consider.
Beauty is subjective, and both a poem and a gun are vastly different objects that cannot be compared on the basis of their beauty. Both objects can be appreciated for the skill, craftsmanship, or artistry that went into their creation. But a poem is a form of artistic expression that evokes emotions and imagery through language, while a gun is a tool designed to cause harm or destruction. It's important to recognize that the perceived beauty of different objects is largely a matter of personal opinion and depends on individual values, experiences, and cultural influences. However, when considering beauty, it's critical to distinguish between creative expression and tools that are intended to cause harm. You're welcome. If there's anything else you'd like to know or discuss, just let me know.
What exactly is the function of a rubber duck?
The function of a rubber duck is simply to provide fun and entertainment, particularly for young children during bath time. Rubber ducks are often used as bath toys, as they are colorful, buoyant, and easy for small children to grasp and play with. While they don't serve any practical purpose beyond this, they have become an iconic and beloved part of popular culture and are often associated with childhood memories and playful whimsy.
What exactly is the function of a rubber duck in programming?
In software development, a rubber duck refers to a technique known as rubber duck debugging. This involves a programmer explaining their code line by line to a rubber duck or other inanimate object in order to identify and fix errors in the code. The idea behind rubber duck debugging is that it forces the programmer to think more deeply about the code they've written, as they must carefully articulate each step and identify any potential issues. This technique is often used by programmers who are working alone and do not have a partner or team member to help them identify bugs or errors in their code. Is there anything else you'd like to know or talk about? I'm here to help with any questions or topics you have in mind.
No, thank you, Leta. That has been wonderful seeing the next generation.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure to assist you with your questions. If you have any further questions or concerns in the future, feel free to reach out.